Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I think we're all doing very, very well. Now yeah, we've got some bad news, haven't we? In the ongoing mystery of the disappearance of Nikki Bulley. It is now February the 20th, Monday, February 20th, 2023. And exactly 24 hours ago, on Sunday, a body was found in the River Wyre. A body, and not spotted by the police or the specialist sonar dive team who'd been there numerous times up and down that very stretch where the body was found yesterday morning by two people walking a dog. It's always dog walkers, always. You know, at some point, the law of averages does state that me walking my husky are going to find a body at some point. But then again, I walk her almost every day in the cemetery out the back. So we're surrounded by bodies anyway. So, unless she digs one up, like, I don't know. But yeah, so a body sadly has been found. And it's now 24 hours later and the police have still not confirmed whether it's Nikki Bulley or not. I think after 24 hours, I think we can assume that if it wasn't Nikki, they would have said pretty much quite quickly that it wasn't her. So, you know, we can cling to hope, but if that's not Nikki, then who is it, you know? After 3 weeks, if it's been 3 weeks in the water, and it's over 3 weeks now, there would be decomposition. There'd be bloating and the skin changes texture and it gets discoloured. Bodies coming out the water, they might not be immediately identifiable, but they would know by now. They definitely know by now. So they just haven't told us. It's grim, it's nasty, and for a lot of us, it's not what we expected. I fully, if this is Nikki, I said all along, I don't think she's in the water. Something else has happened. I did believe that. I've said it so many times, but I gave many scenarios where she could have gone into the water. Now, intriguingly enough, the very stretch where the body was found by these two dog walkers, the banks of the river are they're long and they're not exactly, a precipice to fall into. The actual riverside, the grassy walks on either side of the river are quite some distance away from the water itself. So you've got all like vines and reeds and shrubberies and stuff and sandy areas. So to get into the water, you're going to have to get through all that. So, which would be very hard to do, I think. So unless the body did go in the water at the bench area and then floated down to this area, which is less than a mile away from that bench. How did it get there? But more importantly, folks, there's now a lot of finger pointing and blaming taking place. You can see scapegoats are already being lined up for the chop. Peter Folding, SGI, the super sonar guy, the guy that I bigged up, and in his talents I trusted. He worked that area and didn't find a body. He has now this morning said, because he got interviewed extensively, and he has said, with my hand on my heart, there was no body on that riverbed. But we were only tasked with looking at the riverbed and the river itself, not the sides of the river. Really, I'm afraid I'm not buying that for 1 second. Your job is to search a river for a body. You've got over 20 years of experience in this. You've worked many high-profile cases. You are held in such high esteem by every other constabulary in the southeast of England, where you predominantly work. And you don't think to look at the sides of the river as well. Admittedly, Lancashire Police, with their specialist dive teams and searchers on either side of the river, had searched that exact area and those reeds and bushes for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, folks. Now, oh yes, but the body could have been travelled down, got snagged up underneath, and then finally surfaced. Yeah, it could. I really am not buying that either. Specialist sonar equipment didn't find the body in the river. People walking up and down all the time didn't find a body. How can you not see a body? He's got the equipment to find it under the water, but no, it's on the side. We don't check the sides. Bullshit. Of course you check the sides. Don't give me that. Oh, we just search the centre of the river. We don't look anywhere else. No, that's not our job. Absolute crap. I'm not falling for that at all. At least he's come out and said, well, you know, at the time I believed that she wasn't in the water. And hand on heart, we did our job. I don't think you did do your job that well, to be honest. Not now knowing this. And we know that Lancashire Police have not done their job at all well throughout this. It's funny how they're going to come out sort of, and I did say this, you know, if they find the body in the water, meaning Lancashire Police find the body in the water, I will stand here and I will sit here and I will salute them and say, yes, job well done. You were right all along. But you didn't find the body. You didn't find the body. Lancashire Police did not find the body. And Peter Folding, the expert, did not find the body. It took, what was it? Yeah, dog walkers. Dog walkers found the body. Now, this still does not rule out any sort of third-party involvement or any kind of foul play. It doesn't. You've got to have, you know, an autopsy and the coroner's report. Now, I think I've mentioned this before on the missing 411 cases where bodies are found afterwards in areas that have been searched time and time and time again, and then suddenly the body, like it's been suddenly plonked there. And they've got the body, they do an autopsy. In many cases, you look at them, you look at those cases, you listen to David Paulides read out the autopsy and coroner's reports. There's no cause of death. Cause of death, unknown. Even when they've been found in rivers and canals, and streams and brooks, face down in the water, and they've been there for some time, coroner's report says, cause of death unknown. In other words, they didn't drown, but there's no other injury on them. Just throwing that out there, because at the moment we don't know anything at all about this body, whose body it is, even if it's male or female. I would suspect at this juncture in time, horribly, that it probably is Nikki Bulley. But I haven't heard anything. When I heard the news yesterday, I thought, well, I'm not doing any videos on it because until you know for certain, what's the point? But 24 hours later, and everyone's doing that thing that we've been told not to do. Speculating. Oh, yes. So, once again, the mass media and the authorities have been very quick to lambast and destroy TikTok detectives and social media sleuths, and in a very hypocritical sort of fashion, because in the one breath they say, oh, you know, it's been terrible what they've done there, but in the next breath, but we do need the public to be on hand, and a lot of social media stuff actually does help the investigation. It doesn't hamper the investigation. As someone said before on TV, I think it was Peter Folding. No, it wasn't Peter Folding. It was someone else being interviewed as well. It was a proper journalist on the programme this morning. Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield were talking to that posh, whatever her name is, does all the royal stuff, and this other journo. And he said, I don't know how the police investigation is ever hampered by any of this. Why would it be hampered? Just because people are posting stuff all the time. In most other cases, it's actually beneficial to have that. Why does that hamper an investigation? The police are doing their investigation regardless. It doesn't matter what the fuck is being said on social media. Just don't do that. You just do. Your hard and fast information comes through the proper channels and will be directed to you, and you act upon that if it's a lead, if it's vital information. But if you're conducting an investigation, then you do that. You have certain channels and things to do. Other people getting involved, okay. People who arrive on the scene and start breaking into properties, yeah, now that does. But that's a different thing from just being on social media. I know some TikTokers have been in people's back garden and stuff with torches probing around in the shrubberies and all that. Well, then you get dispersal orders and you get people arrested as well. Yeah, but as Lancashire Police said, when they were openly asked, is this affecting your resources? are you still able to police Lancashire, your constabulary, with all the appropriate resources and manpower? And they said, yeah, of course we can. They had pulled in people from other constabularies as well. They had done that. But no, we've got plenty of police. So if you've got plenty of police to do the investigation and look after Lancashire as well, then all this other stuff really isn't hindering you at all. You've got enough people up and down the river. They're in their dinghies and that, and they're doing like, and there's a body there. And are they just not seeing this body? This is a shambles. It's an absolute shambles, folks. I know people are going like, oh, you're just trying to create a mystery. You're trying to create something more. I'm not. I want a proper resolution to this. Is that Nikki Bulley? Did she drown? How did she get in the water? We've got every right to know this now, because this whole thing, and the media is to blame for this. The media opened this up huge, big time. So what do you think everyone else is going to do? Oh, you've got to watch our news, because our news is correct. Oh, we're not just making things up and speculating. Well, yes, you were. Everyone's done it. Everyone's guilty of it. So, you reap what you sow, or you sow what you reap, whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean. This has been a clusterfuck of enormous magnitude. And as I foretold, heads will roll. They're turning on Peter Folding now. And Peter Folding himself said in today's interview, which was on Good Morning Britain, he said, at the time, Lancashire Police didn't want me involved. It took like 2 weeks to get me involved, and that was at the family's behest. And he said, well, why do you think that was? He said, well, it's egos. And he's basically saying, I'm the best in the business. Lancashire Police didn't want to have to admit that they needed someone else there. And as it turns out, they didn't need him there. They didn't even need to be there themselves, because Joe Public found the body, not you. Not you, with all your manpower, resources, super sonar, people in dinghies, and ground pounding on either side of the river. No, heads are going to roll on this, but they're pointing the finger at Peter Folding now, because, with all your highfalutin fancy equipment and your years of experience, you couldn't find a body on the exact stretch that you were tasked with searching. Well, I wasn't tasked with searching the reeds on either side. Shut up. Shut up, man. But the other thing is this. What if her body wasn't in the river until recently? I don't know. I'm doing that horrible thing of speculating. But it's not unknown. To be honest, it'd be difficult for anyone to have plonked the body in the last week or so, because there's so many people there, and obviously they were still searching up and down. So it'd be very difficult to do it, wouldn't it? In all honesty, this is probably going to turn out to be, she did go in the river, she did drown, and her body got sucked under, and then stayed there, and then finally surfaced into the reed. Apparently it was an upturned tree as well, sort of underneath that. But if people on the riverbank, walking a dog, could spot that, it looks like a body over there. Think that's a body? That's a body, that is. And the police couldn't find that. And they're trained to look for things, things like bodies, I'm not sure about this at all. But what I was getting to there, if it turns out she just drowned, hit her head, drowned, well, okay, yeah. But you give us that evidence and you make that transparent. Don't brush this under the carpet. Don't whitewash this. Close ranks and whitewash this, which I can believe could happen, because they've already looked like assholes, Lancashire Police. Peter Folding now has his reputation a bit not as glowing as it once was. You could take back certain things that you say, well, actually, at the time, what I meant was this. But standing there going, with my hand on my heart, I can say that she's not in that river. Maybe she isn't. We still at this stage do not know if that is her body. I think it is, folks. And what a terrible, terrible time for the family. But, as I've been saying throughout all these videos, if she was alive, then in someone's house, then someone was holding her. or hiding it, harbouring her. But if she's not in someone's house and she wasn't seen leaving the scene, then she was dead. I said all along, if she's in the water, she's dead. You're not going to last for over 3 weeks in the water, are you? So, unless you're a fish. So again, folks, there's not a great deal to add to this other than it's not what any of us wanted to hear, but it's got that stink of inevitability as well. The more time went on, the less chance. Like with poor Julian Sands, people want to cling to hope, but folks, he's not alive. Oh, you watch. He'll come strolling out of the blizzards now, like, hey, have I got a new script for you guys? And I'll be like, oh, I'll be like Peter Falding. Hand on my heart, she is not in that river. Well, if you check the reads, mate, can you honestly believe that? Can you honestly believe that a specialist, an expert in the field of getting drowned bodies out of rivers and waterways wouldn't think to look on either side? Is he just glued to the sonar? He might be, but he's got other team members there with other sonar equipment perhaps, but someone should be looking on either side. I'm not having that you don't look. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And also, how can Lancashire Police have missed a body? It's 4 weeks. Is it 4 weeks? You know, it's ridiculous. It's almost 4 weeks. It's ridiculous. She went missing on January 27th. I think it's a bit of symmetry there. She was reported missing officially around about 11:30, something like that. But the body was found around about 11:30 yesterday. So, I don't know. I wish there was more I could add to this now. But we're now waiting. We're waiting on the autopsy. And if they release any details. And if they just say, well, yeah, she drowned. But how did she get in the water? There was no evidence that she jumped in the water or climbed down the bank at the bench. Where did she go into the water? I mean, we may never know. Was it suicide? Was it an accident? Was it foul play? Well, there's more information to come, isn't there? There's a lot more information to come. Cheers, y'all. I wish I had cheerier news. Sadly, that is not to be. So I would have thought that at some point today, again, it's Monday, the 20th of February, 2023, that we're going to get an official confirmation that it is or it isn't Nikki Bulley. And I tell you what, if it isn't her, then who the hell is it? God. There's potential that this could get even stranger, but it's not a good time. And I was going to say there's always hope to cling to, but is there? Is there now at this stage? I don't think so. I don't think so. And the poor family are in well, to use a partner's words, well, he said there are no words. It's just agony. Of course, you know, what else is it going to be, you know? But I'll be back, I'm sure, with some more stupid opinions, probably, you know. I honestly don't know what to make of it now. I don't. The people that you trust have let us down. Big time. Really big time. Peter Falding with all his equipment. Can't find a body. The very thing that he specialises in. Couldn't find a body, which was right there. If it was there during the time he was searching. Just saying. Lancashire Police screw up by not making people who should have known about her vulnerabilities, didn't make that information available to those other people, like Peter Falding. And then after weeks of like people go, why are you going on the river? What reasons are there? And in their infamous press conference, vulnerabilities, she's high risk, creating another void for people to fill with their own conjecture and rumours and ideas and speculation. prompting them then to be corrected. Right, you're going to have to say what that was now, and then divulging far too much personal information, personal details. It beggars belief, folks. This is a grade A clusterfuck, an absolute catastrophic shambles of an investigation. And they should be held to account for this. It has been a monumental waste of time, energy, and taxpayers' money. Because who's footing the bill for all this, you know? It isn't Superintendent Becky Smith, that's for certain. So, I'm going to leave it there, because there's nothing more to add. But we're going to find out today, I would have thought. I reckon they already know. I mean, they've known since yesterday. The body, if it had been in the water for 3 weeks, over 3 weeks, there would be bloating, discoloration. It will look different. It will. But also, if there's actually injuries, facial injuries, not necessarily from any violent crime, from hitting a rock, you know, bouncing along the riverbed. I don't know. But the clothing should still be there, enough of it at least. If there was, I mean, that's if there was clothing. Again, we don't know. We don't know. But they know if it's hair or not. Dental records, DNA, everything. They know if it's hair or it isn't hair. They're picking their time to, you know, tell the world. And obviously there's a protocol and procedure to go through, a formal identification by family members, next of kin, which you've got to go through that. But rest assured, folks, they know right now. It's not a mystery as to whether it's Nikki or not. There might still be a mystery as to who it really is, if it isn't Nikki. But folks, have been always shall be Kilt-Man, and please keep it Kilted, keep it Celtic. Take it easy, and it's a horrible limbo, isn't it, really, this now. I'm going to see you all